I'll introduce myself. I'm Mary Hughes.
Talk into the microphone so that the camera picks it up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, oh, yes.
All right, great. So I'm presenting a program on ethnic museums in America.
Mary.
Yeah.
I just want to make one more announcement. Derek is now presenting in January for their Find Their Story, the Civil War veterans. It's online already, so please register when you see it. Okay, it's already there. Okay, go ahead, Mary. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, I'm presenting a program on ethnic museums in America and genealogy trips. Let's see if I can use this. Click. My listing of the ethnic museums is from the museums.us website. Notice the number changed. I had on the list, I thought it was pretty comprehensive, but while we were driving in Iowa, I saw road signs for 2 Danish museums, not on my list. And I discovered another one on Family Search Wiki. And then while I was doing the second part of this program, I found yet another one. So I want to emphasize, this is not an exhaustive list. I broke it down, the museums, into ethnic categories. The largest is European, followed by Indigenous, 22 Jewish and 22 Asian, African American, Latin American, and various others. I also did a listing by state. The state with most is New York, with most of them being, of course, in New York City, followed by Arizona, which has the largest indigenous number of museums. And then it slowly diminishes in numbers, as you see. Illinois, one of our closest neighbors, has 8 listed. And Ohio only has 6 listed. And our eastern neighbor, Pennsylvania, has 4. Then it gets really low. 2 for these states, and 1 for these states. And I'm very surprised, like both California, Connecticut, all those only have 1 listed. So I don't know if they have to register with the museums.us website or not, but that's, so all in all, there's only 22 states listed. So you know, again, this is not an exhaustive list. I also categorize the museums into types. And so you should think about the main purpose or focus of the museum. And if you choose, you should choose one that will give you the best experience, information, enjoyment. But keep in mind that one of the museums might have main purpose, but they might have some additional information that could help you. So always do some research before you go. What you should consider, again, is the type of museum, the focus, what will give you the best experience, and any additional information. And research before you go. For instance, a historical museum like the Japanese Internment Museum in San Francisco has rotating exhibits on and archives and educational programs on the Japanese American experience, which is pretty much what you would expect. But they also have information on the 100th 44-second Combat Team, they call it, or an oral history project, and research for military intelligence, and I have no idea what that is. A regional museum, like the Jewish Museum of Eastern PA in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, collects artifacts of Jewish interest, but is restricted to the coal region of northeastern PA, so it's very regional and very limited. A specialty museum, like the Scottish Tartans Museum in Frankfort, North Carolina, emphasizes the history of Scottish Highland clothing. But they also have information on the Scottish immigrant experience in North Carolina, and interesting enough, their interactions with the Cherokee Nation, which I thought was a little unusual. An archival type of an ethnic museum is like the Museum of the American Hungarian Foundation in Brunswick, New Jersey. They collect rare manuscripts, diaries, books, etc., which you can donate and they can determine if they want to use them. They're trying to digitalize their collection, but for now, their records are kept at Rutgers University. A cultural type of ethnic museum might be the Polish Cultural Institute Museum in New York City. It was opened in 2000, so it's relatively new. It was established by the Republic of Poland as a diplomatic mission to the United States, which is interesting, to share Polish history, art, and heritage. Excuse me. Sorry. Ethnic museums are interested in preserving their heritage, and like all of these. The Gamel Garden Museum in Skandia, Minnesota, is an open-air Swedish museum that promotes heritage and immigration history, but they also teach Swedish crafts. There's a unique type of ethnic, I thought was very unique, is the Texas Wendish Heritage Museum in Giddings. Does anyone know who the Wendish are? Not you, Bill. They're Slavs who migrated to northeast Germany centuries ago. But they live there and preserve their culture and heritage to the present day. For Texas, they're from the Lusatia region of Germany, very specific. A genealogical type of ethnic museum is what we're interested in. The Belgian Museum of the Quad Cities in Moline, Illinois, have volunteers to help you with research, genealogists that gives personalized instructions, and translation services in Dutch, French, and German. You might consider some other ideas, like museums for trades, occupations, or professions, libraries, and other genealogical societies. And this trip can provide valuable information on your heritage and understanding of your genealogical culture when visiting these places. The National Barber Museum and Hall of Fame in Canal, Winchester, Ohio, preserves items from across the country to tell the story of the profession. My grandfather was a barber, but I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. The Musselman Library in Bluffton, Ohio, has a Mennonite collection. And that helps, and they want to tell the history, theology, and culture of the Mennonites. A genealogical society, like the American Ancestors in Boston, Massachusetts, they're recently doing a migration project for Ohio family. And they have an Ohio family research class because they're doing migration from the east to the west. They have Irish land records and Scottish ancestors. You can chat with a genealogist or get a consultation, or actually hire a researcher. Excuse me. A majority of my trip information is from the Family Tree magazine, May-June 2024 issue. Excuse me. Thank you. I've actually gone through the list to get more detailed information, and we'll look at cruises, escorted tours, or self-designed options. Some tours are classes aboard a ship. Others provide actual research at a location that you're interested in. Some are meant as heritage tours only to give you general history and culture of a location, or any combination of these. Sometimes you join a group, provide a group, or you personalize your trip to go it alone. Pro Genealogists with Ancestry offers all three types. An Irish Heritage Tour, where is designed with the Ancestral Research Association and offers time in archives and libraries. They have a Sicily Heritage Tour, a Scottish Heritage Tour. They also offer a cruise with family history workshops that leads from Southampton, England, where the Titanic, I think, left from, to Ellis Island and this is for, in case you don't want to leave any inheritance for your children, it goes on the Queen Mary 2. Unlock the Past are cruises offered by Gould Genealogy. It's an Australian firm who runs cruises on the Murray River. However, their website actually has a UK genealogy tab, and they list UK genealogy societies also, and they keep you informed of any record releases in United Kingdom. So that's pretty handy. Genealogy cruises seem to require a group to sponsor a trip. For instance, in 2019, the American Ancestors and My Heritage sponsored a trip to provide lectures in the evening while sailing along the East Coast, which is if you can get a group together, that'd be good. And apparently it's not in our budget for the 40th anniversary. No, apparently not. Which is next year, by the way. UniWorld provides cruises, a European river cruise, but they do have a Jewish heritage tour, visiting museums and historical sites. There are many options for tours, and I've already mentioned the American Ancestors. They are also doing a trip to Washington, D.C. in March of 2025, and they're visiting the National Archives, the Records Administration, and the DAR Library. They're hoping you gain access to military records, immigration files, and compiled family papers. Ancestry Seekers has trips to Salt Lake City called Dreamy Genealogy Vacation. They run 1 week per month, usually. Some months there aren't any. But you can get information on what's available on their website. They'll tell you how many slots are left on a week or if it's sold out, and they'll also tell you when you can start registering for other weeks. The hotels are right next door to the library. Pricing is for single, double, and NRC. NRC is non-research companion, sometimes called a spouse. Ancestries in England is actually located in the U.S. in a mountain time zone, but I'm not sure where. You provide what information you have for free consultation, with no obligation, a consultation with no obligation. You choose from a 10-day ancestry research trip or a 10-day family tree trip. They don't make a distinction on what the difference is to me. Czech Heritage Tours has trips to the Czech Republic. Now, in the magazine article, they say they give trips to the National Czech and Slovak Museum in Iowa, but I didn't see it on the website. But they do not have a personalized itinerary tours in the Czech Republic. Discovering roots. Yeah. Yes, they'll if you give them your information and they do a consultation, I think then they sort of plan a trip for you. And they make it a 10-day trip, and I don't know why it's limited. It's done that way, but it is. The website should be in all the handouts, yes. Discovery Roots gives genealogy tours of Poland. They also provide research and translation services. And if you have them do your research, they'll do photography and interviews from your ancestral village. They deal with the greater Polish-Russian region for German, Jewish, Ruthenian, and Lithuanian ancestry. Family tree tours is for German heritage. You can get an escorted tour to your ancestral home, and they give you local genealogy contacts and appointments to meet the people. It's a personalized itinerary, but they also plan private tours for Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Italy, England, Scotland, and Ireland. Genealogical Adventures in Sweden can help you do research, contact relatives in Sweden, and plan your guided trip. Genealogy Tours of Scotland provides a small group 12 to 15 tour. However, you're the one who has to arrange it. So you count as one, and then you have to get at least 11 other people to go with you. They go to Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen, where the research facilities and records are located. Legacy tree genealogists, they can coordinate with you already planned tour. Like if you're saying, I'm going somewhere, is there someplace, things I can do, they'll let you know. They can do primary research for you and then personalize a travel plan. My Ireland Family Heritage Tours customizes tours based on your information. They also have one-day tours with a genealogist, although this is limited to the Dublin area. But apparently you can extend the number of days, and I assume that's with a genealogist. Norwegian Heritage Travel combines their research with your personalized itinerary. And on the website, they have links to some records with a few translated. These include bidden books, which are farm records for certain areas, Norwegian census for a year in one area, the immigration ship records for Boston, and certain church records. Segotium searchers provide research help and then plan day trips to North Wales. Travel Your Tree emphasizes Italian heritage travel. The website also lists free Zoom presentations with links to Italian genealogy and other programs, and one of which I'll mention at the end. Where to Roam Italian Heritage Tours provides guides, drivers, and a photographer for your heritage tour. African Ancestry has expanded their heritage tours to include South America. They have most African nations like Sierra Leone, Nigeria, but now they've added Brazil and Colombia. Brendan Tours has genealogy trips for Ireland and Scotland. They, they arrange for private and pre-scheduled time with a genealogist or an ancestry consultant. Excuse me. They advertise you can get information on your coat of arms, lineage, and immigration details. They also you can customize one of their existing travel packages. And they do offer a trip to the Irish Immigration Museum and Irish Family History Center, known as the Epic Museum in Dublin, which I've been to. So EPIC stands for Every Person is Connected. You can go there on your own, but you have to make bookings 24 hours in advance. And remember, Cleveland had direct flights to Dublin, and they might be continuing that. They haven't decided yet, I don't think.
Did you enjoy your time that place?
Yes, I couldn't do any research. They used to let you go in and do research on your own, which I think this is now you have to work with a consultant. But I think too many people hire their cheaper genealogists to go in and do research, so I think they sort of changed the plan here. So you get a session 50 or 80 minutes, what you want to pay for, if you go in on your own, which includes some consultation. You can also buy research packages from them, but they need a 4-month lead time, and the packages are for 6, 12, or 18 hours of research. At the end, regardless of the package you get a 50-minute consultation. Oops. Some other tours were in the magazines, but they even say they're not genealogy tours, but they're listed, so I included them. There's Classic Journeys, which are walking tours, but they do have handcrafted itineraries, they said. History Travel is from the History Travel magazine, TV show, and they do trips to historical events with an expert. Rhodes Scholar is known for immersive cultural experiences for us older generation. Mature generation. If you're interested in learning more about heritage travel, and this is where I got it off the Zoom presentations for the Italians tour company, the Allen County Library is having a heritage travel top 10 tips for walking ancestral footsteps. It's a Zoom presentation on January 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration should now be open online. When I checked with them, it wasn't quite open, but they said it should have been open by December 1st. So it should be open, and all you have to do is go to events, click adult, type genealogy, the tab, and then drop down on the date, and it will put you right there. Lastly, if anyone visits a museum or takes a heritage trip, I would appreciate a write-up article to put in the green. I think we'd be all interested in that. This is my email. On the listing I gave you for ethnic museums, I did not include Indigenous or Asian, and if anyone needs that, you can let me know. So enjoy your holiday and trip planning. Is there any other questions? No other questions? Yes, JJ.
Is that Rhodes Scholar, is that the same Rhodes Scholar out of Boston? That has maybe I'm thinking of something different. They have some type of program out there where you actually travel to different parts of the world, if you will.
Bill, answer that one for me.
I think it's the same Rhodes Scholar that does all those travel programs.
Right.
They go all over the world.
But I think they were included in the magazine article because they do immersive experiences where you can bake Irish soda bread or, things like that. But that's why I think they included it in the magazine. So, any other questions?
How many of these museums have you been to?
Me? I've been to the Hungarian Museum. Well, and the Epic. Who knows? But, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, when you consider, even state museums would have a lot of cultural, historical information for you for types of people, for maybe some of your ancestors. So there's a lot of things to think about when you do this. But I thought it was an interesting list with so many museums for us to consider going on. So I personally would like to go to the one to Salt Lake City and have a dreamy genealogical vacation.
And non-geological husband.
Yeah, really. Well, the NRC is cheaper, by the way. There is a discount for having an NRC. So
I like that one to Washington DC.
that, me too. I do too. If I was ready.
And a bus tour from, never mind. And they drop you up, they pick you up, they take you here, I'll pick you. And even if it's a time that they're open a late night, they'll come back and get you in the dark. And they roll up those sidewalks at 6 o'clock in Washington. But I really like that.
Well, I think the DC tour, you would also have consultants from the American Ancestors Research Office there with you, I assume, but,
Well, the DA, you go in as a group and they give you a presentation and what they have and where it's located, and they turn you loose and you can use the copiers. I found things different there on Kentucky and West Virginia I couldn't find here in Ohio. It was a nice experience. You can go out and eat across the street, and it was worth my while.
Is
All right.
that the one at the American Ancestors Research Tours?
yes. They're the ones.
Research, Mary.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.